I have a recommendation here that the agenda for the October 6, 2020 Township of Wellington North Rec, Parks and Leisure Committee meeting be accepted and passed. Dan, I guess we'll just alternate if you don't mind. So if you don't mind moving that, I guess I'll second it.
Okay, no problem here, Steve.
All right, thanks. And all in favor? Great, thank you very much. I don't have any keen area interest. Dan, do you?
Nope. Nope.
Okay, perfect, thanks. Any questions or concerns from or business arising from the last meeting? I have none.
Nope, none from me.
Hearing done. Seeing as there is none, I guess we'll go right into the ICIP culture. Excuse me, MOI, and I have a recommendation that the Rec, Parks and Leisure Committee of the Township of Wellington North receive for information correspondence from Mayor Lennox to MPP Pettipies dated September 22nd, 2020 and September 28th, 2020 from MPP Pettipies to Minister Laura Scott regarding the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. So I guess we better move that. So I'll move that, Dan, if you want to second that, then we can kind of open that for a bit of discussion. Thanks. Yep. So you'll see that note from Randy and then, or from Andy and then to Randy. Yeah, it's disappointing, but this is something that as a committee, we recommended that Andy send to Randy Pettit, or Andy sent to Randy. So that worked out well. Do we have any questions or comments further to that at all? Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Well, I mean, it's always a disappointment when these things don't happen, and there's so much time and effort put into it by our staff. You know, it's unfortunate. I guess we just need to continue to, hopefully, hopefully Mr. Pettipies' correspondence has some kind of influence on these things. But we just need to continue to plug along, I guess, and apply for more funding as it becomes available.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the amount of time and effort that staff, everyone put in on this, I think it looked like it checked all the boxes. And then as Andy alluded to in his message or letter to MPP Pettipies, it almost sets it up as a loser versus winners when all municipalities have unique and different approaches and needs. So for us not getting this funding, it really kind of puts Arthur's arena behind the 8 ball again. So go ahead, Matt.
Yep. Thank you, Chair McCabe. Just a further comment, there was a lot of effort that went into the application, but that information isn't lost. And as part of the 2021 budget submission, I think you'll see some of those projects come as opportunities for future capital work. So I think the activity we went through in terms of figuring out what that facility can look like in the future isn't lost on staff, and I think it's a great resource now for us to go forward when we're for either future grant applications, which there is mention of the ICIP COVID stream, which is one where, again, one of those projects, probably not the entirety of what was put forward for the cultural stream, but it gives us a list that we can work through really to make that facility more sustainable long term.
Agreed. Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments on this recommendation? Seeing none. Councillor Yake, all in favor? Thank you. And then now we will actually move into the ICIP application discussion with the COVID resiliency piece. Matt, you had mentioned some stuff with that. And of course, we're hopefully going to be able to use the information from the prior application on this. Is it fairly parallel, or what can we, I guess for discussion, what can we use this on? And maybe Mandy, you can help us out with this one as well. What can be added, or what, not added, but what can be applied for and what can't be? Go ahead. Sorry, I'm looking to my right because that's where you are.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Matt.
thank you, Chair McCabe. And actually, I would defer to Mandy if she would.
Sure. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Chair McCabe. So project size and cost sharing. So the maximum size of projects under the stream is set at 10 million total eligible costs for projects under the COVID-19 resilience stream. The maximum federal contribution from all sources will be up to 80% for provinces, municipalities, and not-for-profit organizations. Eligible infrastructure projects. So this new stream will support the following types of projects: retrofits, repairs, and upgrades for municipal buildings, health infrastructure, and schools. COVID-19 response infrastructure, including measures to support physical distancing. Active transportation infrastructure, including parks, trails, footbridges, bike lanes, and multi-use paths. And disaster mitigation and adaptation projects, including natural infrastructure, flood and fire mitigation, and tree planting and related infrastructure. So this stream supports near-term quick start projects, and projects must respect the following timeframes. So construction must start no later than September 30th, 2021, and the project must be completed by the end of 2020.
And when do, excuse me, when does any of the applications for this have to be in? Because I think it's a pretty quick turnaround as well. Please.
So on the website, I actually don't see a deadline to submit, but I assume that the quicker we can get an application in, the faster we would have turnaround on our result.
Okay. And now, Matt, maybe over to you if you don't mind. Any of the stuff that we had put into the application for the arena, can that be reapplied for, or is this, and Dan, I want you to weigh in on this as well. Do we look at more stuff that we can do with the trails and places where people in public congregate? Yeah,
Yep.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, through you, Chair McCabe. Yeah, I think trails is a good fit. From the ICIP application related to cultural stream, the front door adjustment maybe at the Arthur Arena, making it a touchless entrance is something that you know could fit in well for a new COVID environment. Yeah, those are the two projects that come to mind, I guess, like a trails related one, or maybe those front doors as being I think fairly easy to make that connection. But I know Mandy and Tom might have ideas too. I know Mandy has talked about, you know, outdoor shower facilities maybe at the Arthur Pool. The idea of keeping people more outside probably, again, is a project that would fit into what they're asking for as it relates to mitigation for a post-COVID environment.
All right, thank you. Thanks for that, Matt. Ned, what are you thinking?
Well, I agree with Matt. I think we maybe have to change direction here a little bit. Not a whole lot, but there's we need to put in, I think, or work on things that are in regards to COVID and how we're going to support physical distancing, that type of thing. I think the active transportation infrastructure, I think that's going to be important. I think the government, people are been cooped up here for 7 months or so, and they want to see people out and about, and they want to see communities supporting those types of activities. So I think there's maybe just a tweak in direction, and with some of the things that we put in this application, and I think we should be good to go.
Okay. Yep, no, I agree. And Mandy or Tom, do you want to weigh in? Yep, go ahead, Mandy.
Chair McCabe, just reiterate what Matt had already put forward. Those were some projects that we had just loosely discussed around the recreation management table.
Okay. How about you, Tom?
Yeah, same thing. If we can continue to work on the projects that we had identified in Arthur, that would be great. Will help that building a lot.
Alrighty. Do we need any direction to staff, or Mike, is that kind of, and Matt, is that all you need, or do we need a separate recommendation for the COVID resilience application? Go ahead, Matt.
Yep, I think staff understands that we'll come back to committee one maybe at the November meeting, just with what we are putting forward, and then we can get some endorsement at that time, because I'm pretty sure probably, well, a council resolution in support of the application obviously goes a long way to helping that application. So I think staff, yeah, appreciate the opportunity just to discuss some of the ideas here, and we can come back in November with where we think we need to go as it relates to that grant application.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I think you have to be, I don't know, I mean, when you put these applications together, you know, you put in, I guess, we put in everything that we need or that we want, I guess. Is it better to just go in on a smaller scale? I guess, I mean, we never know, but, you know, if we needed $1 million worth of work done, but realistically, we thought, well, if we ask for 200,000, would we have a better opportunity at getting that, and at least getting something instead of nothing?
Right.
You know.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yep, I understand, and maybe the strategy could be we could put in two applications of smaller scale, hopefully to increase our success, if that's what the committee would like. That would make sense from my standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that sounds good. Like, I know you ask for too much and you don't get anything, then I agree with you, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a, you know, and can you put in 2 applications, Matt? Is that, am I hearing that or not?
I'm going to defer to Mandy. Probably knows better than me, Member Yake. And I don't want to put Mandy on the spot either. Staff will know in the next month for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Through you, Chair McCabe. I haven't seen where it outlines that you can or cannot submit 2 applications, but we can look into that for sure.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, thanks.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, we will go on. There's an update after the blacksmith shop for the ad hoc committees, but we'll move right to the Lions blacksmith shop. And Kate's not able to meet with us today, so Mandy, I will pass the floor over to you. And I think you're going to share your screen with what the website looks like now.
Perfect. Thank you, Chair McCabe. So I'd just like to start off by congratulating Kate and her committee at the Lions Blacksmith Shop. They continue to work so hard and have seen tremendous progress. On behalf of Chair Rowley, I'm very excited to share the new website for the Lions Blacksmith Shop, found at www.lionsblacksmithshop.org. Chair Rowley and team have an incredible vision for the space and felt that now was the perfect time to keep the project virtually in the minds of the public, as they are unable to welcome them in person. The creation of the website was supported by the Township, with the content and images being provided by Chair Rowley and her team. I'm going to share my screen here. Can you see that okay?
I can see it, yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is the homepage of the Lions Blacksmith Shop website. When you get here, is a beautiful image here taken in the fall of 2019, I believe. It highlights the special event. Unfortunately, due to COVID, some of the events have had to be postponed, but check back frequently as this information will be updated. And then we have the getting here and contact us information. We've used archive at mfheritage.ca as the email contact.
Mandy, the little back in the bottom right-hand corner, it says "Let's chat." So if I was on the website and I clicked on the "Let's chat," is someone there to actually monitor that, or they just kind of get back to them whenever?
Yeah,
Okay, no, that's fine.
it's similar to an email.
Right.
So it'll pop them an email.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
Planning your visit. So guided tours. There are many ways to enjoy your visits to the Lions Blacksmith Shop in Wellington North. Our guided tours are a great place to start with something for all ages. You may recognize this picture here, Member Yates. It's of Mary Lou and yourself, I believe at maybe the Doors Open event or Culture Days in 2009, I think. The Blacksmith Shop is the family home full of historical photographs, a unique village barn, and beautiful grounds with a nature trailer all on the tour. So you can connect with them to book your tour if that's something that you're interested in. Restoration. So our goal is to bring back life to the spectacular example of early village life and to bring fire back to its two forges. A combination of restoration with some repair and replication has begun to reinvigorate this heritage gem. As a rare 1860s stone shop in its original rural setting, this building is a valuable piece of Ontario history. The committee is careful to be sympathetic to the spirit and purpose of this historical space. So this content was provided by Kate Rowley and passed by her committee. And this is an image of local heritage stonemason Steve Walker working on the facade of the building. The history of the Lions Blacksmith Shop is a way of life, a family, a town, and a county. The Lions Shop was a hardworking forge and a carriage works from 1883 until 1955 when the doors were shut for good. The building was left undisturbed for the next 60 years. So it provides a little bit of background and then it links off to a Wellington Advertiser article. Special events is where we hope to promote anything that's happening at the Lions Blacksmith Shop. So Culture Days, Doors Open, and then finally a contact us page. We do ask if anybody's interested in volunteering to also connect with us. There will be some slight modifications to the website over the next couple of weeks when we add a few more things such as the award that we won, and you'll see those being added shortly.
Excellent, thank you, Mandy. Yeah, I was going to ask if the award was going to go up somewhere on the website, so that's fantastic. Looks like there's been a lot of work in that website, and it's nice and streamlined, and it looks like it's easy to navigate as well. And Dan, I'd be remiss without saying thanks for your help on your sitting on this committee as well. So you must have some words of wisdom about it.
Well, I think it's a great asset. I think it's a great way to move forward with the project. It gives people a lot of information in there, and it's I mean, it's the way people do things now. And I think the amount of work that Mandy and Kate have done is terrific. One thing I would like to say is I'd like to thank township staff for keeping the grounds there so well kept this summer. There was an issue earlier in the summer where the mayor and myself took a little bit of heat because of the grass cutting and maintenance of the property. But since that time, it's looked good all summer, and I think I really do appreciate what staff has done to keep that place looking so good.
I agree. It looked good all year round once that grass cutting issue was behind us.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on the Lions Blacksmith Shop update? Seeing none, we will go to the Mount Forest Aquatics Ad Hoc Advisory Committee. There's a recommendation here, Schedule A, that the Rec, Park, and Leisure Committee of the Township of Wellington North receive the minutes of the Mount Forest Aquatics Ad Hoc Advisory Committee meeting held on September 8th, 2020, and further that the Recreation, Parks and Leisure Committee recommend that the Council of the Township of Wellington North approve the landscaping plan for the Mount Forest splash pad as shown in Schedule A as amended. As Sherry's not here, I'm going to pass it over to you, Director of Operations, Matt.
Thank you, Chair McCabe. So if committee will remember, This came to a previous committee meeting as it relates to the landscape, and it was decided to go to the ad hoc committee for their opinion and feedback, and that meeting occurred in September. Since that time, staff have circled around with the Agricultural Society just to share kind of what the landscape vision is at the splash pad. And I think what is before you is consistent with what the discussion was on September 14th on site with the ad hoc committee, and it gives staff clear direction as far as where we're heading from a landscape perspective. And I don't think we need to necessarily get there overnight, but it provides us sort of with a long-term vision of what the landscaping in and around the splash pad is envisioned. Other than that, I'm willing to take questions.
So the Ag Society is on board. Would you agree?
Yep, I think, sorry, through you, Chair McCabe, but I think the Ag Society, the sort of the lion sign, which is, if you will, at the bottom right-hand corner of the project. I think when staff place that sign, we just need to be mindful of lining it up with the existing shed that's on that property, as to not take away from the what would be the north entrance to the western horse fenced area. But other than that, I don't think the Ag Society really had any comments as it relates to it, and I think they were probably appreciative for being circulated it.
Excellent. Any other comments or concerns on the ad hoc advisory committee meeting? So I have a recommendation before us. I guess I'll move it then if we want to second it.
Okay.
All in favor? Thank you. I meant to draw attention to pages 16 to, I believe it is 20. Yeah, pages 16 to 20 on the agenda, and these are the trail pictures that are going up in the Wellington Northwest Luther Trail. And then I wanted to bring up the cache, the geocaching sign as well, and how that's going to be promoted, and then the call out to volunteers. Ask Mandy, is that video or all three? Go ahead, Matt.
Just Chair McCabe, you were a little choppy there. I don't know. Would you be able to just repeat that last?
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I wanted to call out the photos and the I guess the infographics that are going on the West Luther Trail. I think they look fantastic. And then even the volunteer opportunity, will that be going out on all, like the radio, like the river, and the Wellington Advertiser and social media? And then I really like the Can You Catch Me as well. That's pretty clever, and I want to bring some attention to that as well. I meant to before we hit the ad hoc advisory. So please go ahead, Matt.
Yep, through you, Chair McCabe. Yeah, the Trails Committee, specifically in Arthur, has been making a lot of progress as it relates to signage. Signage has kind of been a focus related to trails, and there was an agenda item just under the ICIP application that was just for a trails update, just to provide a little more context. But yeah, really I think good on Mandy for being able to connect with someone that has that kind of those kind of signs already available. So it would makes a lot of sense to leverage those. And in Arthur specifically, the intent is to do some work on a culvert in Arthur this fall. There's one area of the river trail that experiences a bit of water, and the thought is that a culvert there will just allow the water to get across the trail and keep the trail dry. I would also maybe defer to Mandy if Mandy had anything further about trails that she just wanted to comment on.
Yeah, go ahead, Mandy. Thanks, Matt.
Sure, through you, Chair McCabe. Just want to send a big thank you to Tasha. She was actually the one that created the Cache Me signs for our social media for the geocaching. So great job to Tasha for getting those created rather quickly and being able to put them on our social media. Just to mention again, if you are interested in volunteering opportunities, the Mount Forest Trail Group in particular is looking for some support, and we would appreciate anyone who is willing to come forward to help that committee. Just in addition, we did receive a quote from Reeves for the work on the pedestrian bridge in Mount Forest, but we are waiting to hear back from the FCCA before we proceed with that project. And finally, we'd just like to remind all residents that dogs must remain on a leash at all times when they're enjoying the trail system. That's been a comment that we have heard from trail users and our partners who are very kind to let us use their property, that we just really ask that all users keep their dogs on a leash when using.
Great, thank you, and great work, Tasha, as well. That was pretty catchy. So, and thanks for everyone in their efforts for this as well. And I would like to thank the Wellington Federation of Agriculture for providing the material for the infographics on the trail as well. So, a bit of a shout out to that, and to Councillor Hearn for, I think, quarterbacking that as well. So. Good, thank you very much. And sorry I missed that earlier. We will go on to the Arthur BMX Skateboard Park. I don't really think there's much in the way of an update here. They're still looking for, excuse me, for some funding. About, I guess it would be 2 weeks ago, they did the chicken dinner drive-through as well. But I don't think there's too much update from them that I've seen, Mandy. Have you?
Sorry. No, I haven't received an update from the Arthur BMX Skateboard Park at this point in time, but they are still looking to fundraise, and they are being successful now that they've been able to have that chicken barbecue dinner, and hopefully there's more in our future.
All right, thank you. Any other updates from anyone? Seeing none, we will go to the next report, RPL 2020-1018, and that is the Arthur Optimus Playground RFP, and there is an attachment there on the agenda. And I have a recommendation that the Recreation Parks and Leisure Committee in the Township of Wellington North receive for information report RPL 2020-018, being a report on the Optimus Playground and RFP. Yes, Daniel, if you don't mind moving that, I will second it, and then we can open up some discussion on it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, Matt. I'll push it over to you.
Yep. Thank you, Chair McCabe. I think the intent was just to create some awareness that this was a 2020 project that was approved, and kind of with some of the events in 2020, it's got really delayed from where we thought we would be. But I think from a staff standpoint, we see a lot of value in putting out this RFP this fall and getting a partner engaged to help us work through this project. Throughout, I know Mandy specifically has been in touch with the Optimuses just to keep them engaged and ensure that they're informed as far as how the RFP is proceeding. And yeah, Mandy did a lot of the legwork as it relates to drafting it, and I think the RFP will, we'll go out and hopefully we'll get, like I say, a good partner to work with on the replacement of that playground, because it's an exciting project, and one that as a rec team for sure we didn't want to lose sight of.
Fair enough. Thank you for that, Matt, and I'm glad that they're, even though through the situation the whole world finds themselves in and delayed projects and stuff like that due to COVID, I'm glad that they're still a willing partner and still interested in this park as well, or the playground as well. And thank you too, Mandy, to keep the lines of communications open with them. Any other questions or information that we can share with this on the playground? Or seeing none, I will call for that vote to approve it. That is passed. Thanks very much. Now we'll go to what I would say is a bigger one here, and something that I think we've waiting to hear from OMHA and in the various minor hockey associations. So before me, there's attachments, ice allocation, return to play ice, crowd control halls as well. not going to read that all out, but I will move that this recommendation, and then hopefully Daniel, you'll second it, and I will pass it over to Tom to go through this with us. Go ahead there, Tom.
Okay.
Thank you.
All the OMA through the OHF, all minor hockey groups had to meet with the township they played in and come up with a plan for replaying. We had to create a plan so that they could follow our plan. That's what we've done. They've created a plan and they've had to apply to the OHF to return to play. Mount Forest has already been accepted. Arthur's in the process. They should be accepted this week, we assume. Mount Forest has already started playing here. Our new protocols, their new protocols have all been followed. It's some little issues at the start, but I think we've got everything working. We now have to have a gatekeeper at the front of the front door. People have to sign in for contact tracing. And it seems to be working well with the minor hockey. Figure skating went last night, and it didn't hear any complaints about that last night. Part of the ice allocation, and you can see what we've discussed there, part of it was extra ice. They won't be allowing any hockey tournaments. Carnivals are still up in the air, but they've set their dates just in case they can go with them. Yeah, our plan seems to be working, and the plan we've met, Mandy had set up meetings with the other local groups, other local municipalities, Minto, Mapleton, Grand Valley. And we kind of all have the same kind of back to hockey protocols. And we've seen a lot through SWARFA, and they're quite similar. So it's working right now. We're going to see in Arthur, the ice is in both towns. We'll see how it goes. It should be starting today in Arthur this week with some ice time.
That's great. Thank you. And that's what, excuse me, one of my questions was our neighboring municipalities, are they kind of doing the same thing? So thanks for that, Tom. For private rentals, is that an option at all if I wanted to rent the ice, or what's the thinking behind that, Tom?
Right now, we want to get the minor hockey and get the kids doing the new protocols and new procedures. Then the adults will see that they're doing it. They should be setting an example. We're hoping maybe in November we can start with that process, getting the adult hockey. The biggest one that I talked to the guy that runs the rec league in Arthur on Saturday nights. That one's going to be a tough one. Do you play in that one, Steve?
No, Lord, no.
Okay.
Better than I am.
Okay. We talked. They may be going to a 4-on-4 format too. I think that's the way the minor hockey groups are going to go first. They're all 9 people per team or 10 people per team, and then they're going to do 3-on-3 games, and then they're going to do 4-on-4 games, and they're only going to play within their shell. Arthur, Mount Forest, Drayton, and Minto are a group. North Wellington, they stay within their own health organization. That's to mitigate cross-contamination, I guess, too. So,
okay.
With the rec league, we're trying to talk with Brad Hutchison. He's going to try and work something out with them, with the guys that want to still play.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Just going further down with ice logos. I know last year there was a question was asked, and I know the ice is in already, Tom, so that's kind of a foregone conclusion. But I know there was a resident in Arthur that was wondering if Wellington North would ever put their logo at center ice in Arthur, and I can't remember, excuse me, what the cost of that was.
Yeah, none of the minor hockey groups in Mount Forest or the Patriots, none of them put their logos on this year just because it's an abbreviated season that may not even get through the year.
Right.
So we didn't entertain that, putting our logos on too. It's $500 a logo. So we left both surfaces are blank this year, and I'm hoping we get through the season. The Patriots won't play until start. They've set December 1st for start. Mm-hmm. So everybody was just kind of sat on the fence on that one.
Okay, no, that's good to know, and kind of makes sense for them. I suppose you might as well save some money if they're not.
And this year, sorry to interrupt, but they probably won't have spectators.
Yeah.
Unless our numbers really turn around.
Yeah, that's another good point as well. So, no, I just want that out there because I'm sure I'll be asked about it as well. So, thank you for that. So I have that recommendation in front of me, and I will call for a vote, or sorry, I guess, is there any other concerns or questions? Sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
Tom, first of all, just to, thank you for all you've done in trying to get this all put together. This hasn't been it hasn't been easy, and not only you, but your staff and our everybody involved, because it's been a difficult issue to deal with, I'm sure. So thank you for your time and effort in that, and please pass that along to everybody involved. I just wanted to ask, in regards to the walking track, it says the walking track will be closed during ice times. Does that mean it's closed? What is that, closed for good while the ice is in, or what does that mean?
It's kind of pending. Right now, we are not. I had to assure the minor hockey clubs that there would be no walking during hockey at night.
Okay.
We're not sure when we're going to open that, what we're going to do with that yet. We still have to discuss that. That's one of our programs.
Okay.
Off a little while, because again, that's an older demographic with the people that are walking.
Yeah.
More serious complications.
Yeah. No, I've just had a couple of questions, and I just wanted to confirm this morning. So, but thank you for that. And again, thank you for all you've done to try to get, keep recreation operating and back up and running to some sense of normalcy. So thank you once again.
All right, excuse me. Thank you for that, Tom. And to echo Councillor Yake, pass on our appreciation to your staff that are keeping the facility as clean as they can and sanitized as they can, even though there's not too many people in there. And hopefully everything, there's always going to be growing pains with this, and it's a kind of like a moving target as well. And I know your team has already adapted to a lot of different protocols and policies for this. So, so thank you very much for that. Any other questions or comments on this reopening? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? Thank you very much. That has passed. Are there any items for consideration? I'll start with you, Councillor Yake.
I don't think so. No, it's just strange times, and thanks again to everybody that's working so hard to keep things running.
Yes, thank you. Matt?
Yeah, nothing on my end, Chair McCabe.
All right. Tom?
Nothing on my end, Chair McCabe.
Okay. Mandy?
Nothing on my end either, Chair McCabe. Thank you.
All right. I'll ask you, Mike, just because you haven't had a chance to talk yet. So
it's been a good meeting. Mike doesn't have to say anything. So well done, everybody.
that's great. And then I'll ask if there's any real new business or roundtable discussion that we need to have at this moment. I have none.
None from me.
All right. Then I will have a recommendation that the Township of Wellington North Recreation Parks and Leisure Committee meeting of October 6th be adjourned at 9:09 a.m. But I would ask that we meet maybe November 10th, or we can meet November 3rd. What works for everyone's, I don't want to have anything to bother Remembrance Day, of course, but if we want to do it on the 3rd, I'm fine with that as well.
I'm good, Steve. Whichever day you want to go.
All right, well, we'll schedule that in for November 3rd for now at 8:30, and I will call for an adjournment. All in favor? Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for your participation this morning and joining us very early on a Tuesday morning. Have a safe day. Hopefully, looks like the weather's good out the window, so hopefully that keeps up. And have a great week as well. And thanks everybody once again.
Thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.